Fortunately, American President Donald Trump cancelled the massive strikes against Iran that were scheduled for last night. How this affected the financial markets, crypto, gold and oil, and what comes next? Stay with us to find out. Of course, we can't skip talking about SpaceX's incredible achievement, which is expected to make Elon Musk the first trillionaire in history. We've also selected some interesting news about Ripple and Cardano, so watching until the very end of the episode is recommended. If you want our clips to continue in the future, please leave a like on the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. Donald Trump seemed to have decided to open the World Cup in quite an interesting way by ordering brutal bombings over Iran, which were supposed to take place last night. In addition, he added, at some point in the not too distant future, we will take Kark Island and other oil infrastructure points and assume total control of their oil and gas markets, similar to what we did with Venezuela, which is working brilliantly for both Venezuela and the USA. Fortunately, today we woke up to the news that after a discussion with Iran, the President of America has cancelled the attacks. You probably remember well that Trump has been using a similar intimidation tactic for months, after which he does not resort to active actions, and for the better, because at one point he met a collage of himself pressing a red button with a nuclear bomb exploding behind him. Crypto reacted well to the development, with Bitcoin rising to almost $64,000 and many altcoins like Ethereum, Ripple, Cardano, Solana and Dogecoin are in the green today. Oil dropped to around $85 per barrel, which is the lowest level since April, while gold, whose price crashed yesterday to a 7-month low, climbed to around $4,200 per troy ounce. We continue with one of the most interesting pieces of news, which will certainly be one of the year's leading events. Of course, we are talking about what happened and what is about to happen with SpaceX. The company, founded in 2002 by Elon Musk, has long been a symbol of technological breakthrough, one that not only launches rockets but changes the economics of space through reusable rockets, vertical landings and the global Starlink satellite network. Now SpaceX is entering a new era, the largest IPO in history, raising a record $75 billion by selling over 555 million shares and valuing the organization at an impressive $1.77 trillion. This IPO is anything but standard. SpaceX chose a fixed price of $135 per share instead of the traditional price range, and investor interest is so high that orders exceed the offering by more than double. The shares are expected to be available for trading when the US market opens later today, so by the time you watch and listen to this clip, they will likely already be trading. The company is even allocating an unusually large share, about 30%, to retail investors, which is 3 times above the Wall Street norm. But the biggest question is, does this make Elon Musk the first trillionaire in history? According to analysis, if SpaceX's market valuation holds or raises after trading begins, the value of Musk's stake could surpass the psychological threshold of $1 trillion, especially after SpaceX already absorbed his AI company, xAI, a move that expands the business potential far beyond rockets. Of course, not everyone is thrilled. Comedian Jimmy Kimmel reacted with his typical sarcasm, warning that if Musk becomes a trillionaire, he'll probably buy the moon and charges for the view. What does all this mean for the markets? Such a gigantic IPO could shake traditional indexes. Some analysts already know that investors are redirecting capital from the tech sector towards SpaceX, and there is talk of many people taking loans to invest in the space company. All this could lead to serious volatility. For the crypto market, the effect could go both ways. On one hand, the massive liquidity inflows into SpaceX could suck capital out of riskier assets like Bitcoin and altcoins. On the other hand, if the IPO is perceived as a signal of technological boom, it could support sentiment in the crypto sector. We now move on to Ripple's cryptocurrency XRP, which is having a pretty rough month, with its price down about 25% to $1.15. Several key signals, however, suggest that the asset may be on the verge of a serious rise. The first and most discussed catalyst comes from analyst Ali Martinez, who noted that the Tom DeMark sequential indicator has given a buy signal, something that has historically preceded a trend reversal. Although part of the community is skeptical of his tool's accuracy, Martinez emphasized that even a drop to 90 cents would represent a very attractive long-term opportunity. The second factor is purely technical. XRP's RSI fell below 30, which means the asset is in a strongly oversold zone. When the RSI stays this low, a short-term pump often follows as the market corrects excessive selling. The third element concerns investor behavior. The amount of XRP held on Binance has fallen to a 4-month low of about 2.68 billion tokens. This means many holders are moving their assets to self-custody wallets, a sign they do not plan to sell soon. Reduced exchange supply usually decreases selling pressure and creates conditions for easier price appreciation. There is also a bonus factor. XRP ETFs continue to attract net institutional inflows, which already exceed $1.45 billion. This means large players, including hedge funds and pension funds, are increasing their exposure to XRP, and ETF issuers are forced to buy real tokens to back their products. We finish with the saga surrounding Cardano and its founder Charles Hoskinson. Everything began in early June when he announced he was taking a temporary break and warned that the ecosystem could be hit by a wave of failures due to project shutdowns and financial difficulties. This statement alone was enough to worry part of the community, especially against the backdrop of ADA's drop below 20 cents and increased volatility. But the drama didn't stop there. Shortly after, Hoskinson stated that Cardano is the only ecosystem that can run the world. A remark that sparked a mix of enthusiasm, mockery and confusion on social media. And then came the craziest rumor. Some ex-users claimed that Hoskinson sold about 1.5 billion ADA during the 2021 bull market. He has not responded to the accusations, but the mere spread of them is already affecting investor sentiment. In the crypto world, trust is everything, and such speculation can weigh on the price even without real evidence behind it. Adding to this is the news that Hoskinson is planning the Great Migration, moving the entire Cardano community from X to a new platform after declaring that the current social network is unsuitable for the future of Web3. It remains to be seen whether this will become a strategic breakthrough or yet another division within the community. And that's where we leave you, friends. We wish you a fantastic weekend and see you soon.